Okay, hello everyone. This is the first dev vlog that I'm doing. I'm gonna do this little series kind of showcasing what I've been working on with this project. The teaser is up on the other channel, but I want to kind of migrate the gaming stuff to this channel as this is the gaming channel. First of all, sorry about the audio quality. I'm not using my usual setup for recording audio. I'm just kind of recording off my laptop speaker right now. And I'm also like super sick, so sorry if I kind of sound weird or there's a lot of random cuts for coughing breaks and stuff. I'm just going to be kind of doing some commentary over this footage, and we're going to go through with where the project's at right now and what I've been working on. If you're curious about some of the lore of the factions that's in this game, I'll put a section in the end where you can read about that. But for now, we're just going to kind of go over this zone. This is just one of the zones in the game. There's going to be multiple sections, but this is one of the biggest open world kind of hub areas. Also, please don't mind the pop-in and the LOD and stuff that's going on with details popping in and out. I've been experimenting with some different optimization, and that still needs to come a long way. So there is some really choppy stuff in this. This is super work in progress. Some areas are entirely untouched. With this being in what I would call a pre-alpha state, there's a lot that's here that's work in progress. There's some random things around the zone, and it just doesn't really make much sense yet, but it's more of like a placeholder, and it's more to remind me that I gotta work on these sections. The bare spots, there's gonna be stuff there too, but there's things that I specifically put down so far kind of to remind myself spacing and the pace of this zone. And like I said, there's going to be other zones. This is a fairly massive zone for this engine, honestly, and for my skill level. This is the first time I'm kind of trying to make something legit. This zone alone is 2.5, but times 2.5 kilometers. Then some of the other zones vary in different sizes. Some are much smaller, but this is most likely going to be the biggest zone in the game. And in this episode, I'm going to be going over this zone mostly. But what is this? This is a survival game. You can see here there's a bunch of different mechanics going on. There's like hydration, nutrition, energy, sleep, with more to come. But I have several things kind of scattered around the map for some early testers. This is one checkpoint by the NCCO. You can see I've made some custom textures. Well, actually, let's go over these characters that I'm kind of making. So far here we have like an infected NCCO, which is going to be used for later on. But aside from that, we have some other characters that we can pull out here. These are, again, work in progress. I still got to do some stuff to them. I just kind of wanted to get the vibe down, and obviously being like a Russian / communist inspired faction, I think they're kind of so far fit in that vibe. As for the entire scope of the story zones, so far we're looking at 8.8 kilometers, which is about 5.5 miles squared. Right on the screen here, this is kind of one of the player homes that I'm working on. This is like a super put this here, remember to come back to it kind of thing. We have some spoiled food too, because I want there to be some sort of consequence to picking up like questionable food in the environment. And I just noticed right here I accidentally put down E a bunch of times, so I got to go back and change that. We're gonna hop in and run around. Let me just kind of adjust the atmosphere a little bit because I have to turn it down. The toggle for weather in the editor is not working for me. We're gonna add in a little bit of this, not worry too much about the lighting yet, and we'll take a closer look at some stuff. I apologize if I'm gonna be repeating myself a bunch of times here. Like I said, with this sickness, I got a bunch of brain fog. I'm kind of going in circles. I already do that, and it's way worse here, but you can see this is one of the little meadow sections that I'm going to be working on, and I'm honestly just going to kind of cut through to one of the parts that I would like to go through. One of the more lootiest areas so far. Like I said, there's going to be a bunch scattered around the map, but this is one of them. So coming up on this abandoned house, or kind of abandoned, We see a couple of graves outside. I'm trying to do a little bit of storytelling here. I want to create like an atmosphere that you kind of think about your actions. We have like a children's play set, a sandbox outside. Looks like it was a family home. Look at those god rays too. Those are so nice. But we're gonna take a step inside. This is super unoptimized. There's something going on here I gotta work out. This has happened before and I fixed it. Again, everything in here placeholder. But we're gonna go up these stairs, and you'll see the frame rate kind of drop like I was talking about. There's something going on here that I need to fix. This guy needs a lot of work. He kind of walks through the wall here. Some of the animations and stuff, and his navigation finding. So we can see a bunch of stuff in the top right here. These are different like parameters that are going on. You have, like I said, you have nutrition, hydration, and energy. We're gonna take some of this guy's stuff because it's all gonna respawn anyways. We're just in the editor here, but I want to kind of create an atmosphere that you kind of think about what you're doing. You know, this guy might have just lost like his family and buried him, and we're here like taking his stuff. So I want there to be a lot of choice, right? You can and can't do things based on how you feel about them. We're gonna kind of cut to this little path to go over to the main resistance hub, kind of like a little town, a little city. Again, very, very early all this is. We got some trenches I need to smooth out, and I want there to be a lot of identity with the factions. So you're gonna be able to see some different weapon types and different weapon categories that we'll get to later. I got a couple on the ground here that we'll take a look at, but like for example, this F2000, I want this to be like an NCE weapon. That's a lot needs to be done with some animations. Then we have like this VSS, which I mean again is going to be an I didn't even realize that, but I triggered the thing, so I'm going to need to cut the audio because that's a music zone. And yeah, so where was I going with this? The NCCO, they're going to have their own like commie block style weapons, and it's all going to make sense. We'll get to that later, but we'll take a little peek in here. We have a resistance dude sitting outside, and he's got a resistance rifle with some spray paint on it. Kind of a customized loadout, and this is, again, I'm going to say this so much, placeholder. We're just going to take him out there. None of these guys are reacting because they're not set to yet. Obviously in the game I'm going to make everyone react to things, and these NPCs here are completely just for theory. There's going to be a lot more in the game. We're looking at trading here, where you can buy food, sell things. Not just food too, I want there to be like different lootable items and valuables. We're going to take a head over here. Yeah, some save zone. We're going to go over to that player home real quick though, and we'll see what we're working with over there. Actually, we're going to take a quick peek in here. There's really nothing in here yet, but we have like a decommissioned NCCO vehicle he's working on. It's way too big. I got to scale it down. But like I said, we got that E. We got to change that. That's supposed to say questionable food without telling you if it boosts or lowers health or nutrition or different things. We got a bed here. I got to figure out some sort of system where the screen darkens or something, because obviously just fading like this is not interesting. And sorry, I'm talking over myself and stuttering a lot here. Like I said, I'm going in circles with this brain fog. But yeah, this will be one of the player homes for this zone. And we'll take this. This is an example of a questionable food. You can see our health lowered a little bit. It's not going to be 500. That's just for the testing purposes. Our health lowered and our nutrition lowered. So you're going to kind of want to take some chances. And we got the map up here. The map's going to move around as you like move through the environment. It's a little zoomed in. And obviously there's some like white scribbles around the map. Those are to remind myself different things that I want to work on. We're gonna kind of hop to one of the different areas here. This is one of the NCCO checkpoints. I haven't had any time to do any furnishing or anything in here. We got some leaning here too. It's super choppy. Got to try to figure that out. But definitely a cool atmosphere in this zone so far. and there's a guy standing out here. We'll take him out. There's no sound, like I said, because I cut it because I had to go. I walked in the zone. But yeah, so aside from all this, let's go on to some of the weapons and the weapon choices. Somewhere that faction identity that I'm kind of going for. We see an NCCO AK variant on the ground, and then we're hopping into frag motion because I want to put a suppressor on this rifle. This is again super janky, and I'm gonna revise it and fine tune it, make it a lot nicer. But this is more of a proof of concept kind of thing, and I wanted to share a little bit of the works with you guys, what's going on. So I'm just going through this program. I'm adding like a super simple suppressor because I'm going to need some suppressors for some of the more stealth suggested areas and quests and stuff. And it's just that, it's suggested because I want this to be played however you want to. You know, you can go in guns blazing or you can kind of hang back. But here we got, in the test world here, different faction themes. You can see these each have like their own theme, and that's what I want because I want that identity to be there. We're gonna hop in, and this is super jank so far, but we just threw this suppressor on this. The magazine flying through like that, I gotta figure out something because that's not right. There's something going on there. But we're gonna need to get some better audio for that because using the stock gunshot for a suppressor doesn't make too much sense. You see I'm taking out some of these guys here, so I will be working on the audio. But let's go to the main menu. Here we got, again, a super early main menu. It's nothing too fancy, too special, but all these buttons, got them working. They'll go to different things, and for example, operations, the side mode that I'm working on, like a bonus mode. If you ever played like Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2 Spec Ops, kind of like that. We're going to have a bunch of different themed mini levels, mini missions here. We're going to have like some raid style. We're going to have like some survival style, wave survival. We'll see what we can do with this. But so far, a lot of these buttons are not changed over yet to the theme that I'm going for. And then we got this world tester screen, and this is going to be for the people that are testing this early. This is going to be different zones that they can hop into, run around, and see the atmosphere, see what's going on. I wanted to include the dev test world map because I would like them to try different weapons and the nutrition and hydration systems. And this is something I should have said earlier on, but I want each zone to have its own atmosphere and its own vibe and be kind of faction related to that identity that I was talking about. If you've watched the channel, you'll probably find a lot of Easter eggs in the Backcountry zone. It's not directly based off anything, but there's very clear Easter eggs to the channel thrown in there from different videos. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool thing that's going on. And first, these maps are going to be super bare. There's not going to be a lot of NPCs or anything. That's because I want like a canvas to do questing and stuff on. So I want that canvas as a backup. But thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave you with this screen that you can read through if you're interested. It's a little bit of the faction lore, and there's so much more lore that I gotta put out with these episodes. But here you can kind of get an idea of who these factions are and what roles they play.